Copyright free shite off, that's quite enough for one night. Quite enough. Aye. Well, hello and welcome into this Wednesday's entertainment news. I am Jonathan C. Walsh, back once again to discuss the world of entertainment. I'm just checking it as Wednesday. It's been one of those weeks. It is Wednesday. Back again to discuss the world of entertainment. I am aware that I have flung some topics in to this show. I have edited the show just a little bit, and I forgot to do graphics bars for 2 of the 4 topics I am discussing on the show tonight. But I do believe the main topic, yes, that there, is very much has a graphics bar, and the one that I'm bookending the show with, starting in India and finishing in India, has a graphics bar. I'm going to start the show on a slightly melancholic, sombre note, some might say, by diving over and reading this brief news. Walsh has passed away at 82 years of age. The news dropped not too long ago, I don't think, around about an hour ago, as you can see, posted by Empire. In all honesty, first of all, what's happening with this window capture? Can we just address this? Move that down, come on. Things have to look professional on this show. A sort of a die on that on my own sword on that hill being the presentation presented. If you can't understand a single word I'm fucking saying, at least the stream looks good while I'm being completely misunderstood for sometimes upwards of an hour. But as you can see, yeah, she passed away, the iconic actress. I'm not going to linger on this too long. 1 million years BC, I think. Fantastic Voyage, the ones that she was really known for. Bit of a pin-up, bit of an iconic looking star of the 1960s and 70s. Immediately recognisable to anyone born pretty much anywhere on the planet. Fucking held her looks as well, it has to be said, right up until her final days. Sadly missed. We're losing all of these iconic figures from that era, the likes of Kirk Douglas, Walsh, people like that dying in recent years, and it's always a sad and sombre moment of reflections, really, when you do lose notable figures from a yesteryear, the golden era of Hollywood, if you like. I just thought I'd start the show off by saying, rest in peace, Raquel. I'm going to move on to hopefully more happier notes now. The main headline of the show tonight is all about RRR. And of course, if you've clicked on it, you will know why it's all about RRR. It is re-releasing internationally, and there has been many questions posed regarding why it is being re-released internationally. Well, realistically, there isn't many questions. Someone has made a statement. That someone being koimoi.com team. This is where I get the information from, koimoi.com. I don't know how reputable a publication they are, but the website seems to be pretty half decent, and just flooding the website with adverts with Vans shoes, because I've been going down a rabbit hole with Vans recently. And as you can see, asking the question, or not, just making a statement. No questions involved here. I'm asking the question, and I'll get into that in a few moments. But yeah, making a statement that it's going to release overseas, re-release, to cover potentially the distance of 36 crores to beat KGF Chapter 2 at the worldwide box office. They're putting a question mark, so it is indeed a question. To cover a distance of 36 crores to beat KGF Chapter 2 at the worldwide box office? Is that a question? Is that a statement, Koimoi? I don't know. You're confusing me. But needless to say, I'll get into that. Perhaps the rationale behind why this movie is re-releasing in the international markets. And indeed, can it make up that 36 crore difference? By all accounts, I did search up in Google. It's roughly about $4.35, I'm going to round it up, $35 million, $4,350 million. And I have to tell you straight off the bat, this movie will make $4.5 million internationally on a re-release. So it will almost certainly pass KGF Chapter 2 internationally. And whilst I don't want to get into the whole sort of which one's the best movie and sort of tribalism that comes with that, I'm going to get into it. RRR's a better movie than KGF Chapter 2. It absolutely is a better movie. It has more razzmatazz, it has more sort of, I don't know, influence worldwide. This movie's been nominated for Oscars. It's been nominated for Golden Globes. It's been nominated potentially for BAFTAs, long listed. It's a better movie. It has better creative content. It is a better story. It is better acting. It's visually better. It's just a better movie than KGF Chapter 2. And realistically, the last thing it has to tick off in that sort of shortlist is being the better movie in terms of international and national box office success. And it will do it. It will make the crores required to topple KGF Chapter 2 internationally. But look, why are they doing this re-release? As you can see here, RRR was in re-release talks for a long time. And finally, we have got an update about its re-arrival in overseas territories. And I will read on, Koimoy, I will read on you. Read my mind, my friend. All these adverts try to punt clothing to me. Don't get me wrong, I do like the Levi's t-shirts I'm seeing on the left-hand side. They look very decent indeed, but look, I'm not in the mood for buying clothes just now. I'm in the mood for speaking about KGF and RRR. As you can see here, SS Rajamouli's RRR has been making India proud on a global level with the kind of appreciation it is getting, be it critical acclaim from Western media or a nomination at the Oscars 2023. Now the latest we hear about the film is that a re-release is being planned in several overseas circuits. I hope the United Kingdom is one of them, because I want to go see this movie in the theatre. I didn't get the chance to see this movie in the theatre in its initial release. Really bad timing. I was down with a bout of norovirus, not feeling great at all. I'd love to go and see this movie in the big screen. I'd love to see those effects, all of the stunning action set pieces. I just want to see it, and I hope it comes out here. I will be one of the people going and funding the required crores to topple KGF Chapter 2. Believe me. And as you can see here now, the latest we hear, yes, re-release is planned, several overseas circuits. Will it help in going past the worldwide box office of KGF Chapter 2? Let's discuss below. Yes, well, I mean, we can discuss below, but the short and sweet of it is, yes, this movie will pass KGF Chapter 2 internationally. It will make the $4.5 million required internationally to pass KGF Chapter 2. It just will. There's enough interest in this movie. It's getting award buzz. It will have enough eyeballs in international circuits to then topple KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. That's a fact. It is a factual sort of statement. I was going to say something else there, factual, definite. It's going to happen. But we'll get into it. It's been said that ever since the Magnum Opus started drawing attention in the West, the makers were planning a re-release as it could benefit the film. For the unversed, the Ramcharan Jr. NTR starlet is amongst the 4 Indian grossers to earn over 1,000 crores at the worldwide box office. Before its release in Japan, it made 1,144 crores gross. Now, if the reports are to be believed, it will be re-releasing in North America and several other territories overseas. I hope the UK is one of them. You bastards, it better be. And yes, the Magnum Opus stands at, including a Japan collection. What's this? And an official announcement is awaited on the same, including Japan collections. Japan usually does well too in terms of Indian releases. They do contribute a fair number. The Magnum Opus stands at a whopping 1,194 crores gross. If re-released, there is a high chance that it might surpass KGF Chapter 2's 1,230 crores. The gap is just 36 crores. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it will make the 36 crores and some. It will pass KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. It deserves, I will reiterate, to pass KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. It is a better movie. That's not me doing down KGF Chapter 2. It's a good movie too. We rated it highly. We enjoyed it. But KGF Chapter 2 is not as good a movie as RRR. It just isn't. It's got 2 superstars. You could say that with Sanjay Dutt and Rocking Star Yash, KGF had 2 stars as well. But RRR had 3 stars at Dalia Bat, and at Daji Devkin had 4 stars. So, it trumps it in every sort of metric you can choose to delve into. They go on to say, meanwhile, after registering a historic win at the Golden Globes, RRR's Natu Natu got recently nominated in the Oscars Best Original Song category. Talking about the same with Deadline, music composer M.M. Keeravani said, "It feels great." He also expressed that the Oscars are best as they involve the dreams of artists from all over the world, which is not a joke. Look, this movie, Natu Natu, will 100% win the Oscar. I have no doubt in my mind. I've been sort of trumpeting to the world, everyone that listens to me, that it's the best song of last year. It's infectious. The dancing is magical. The choreography is great. And it just embodies the sort of fraternity, the brotherhood that has been fostered in the movie between Bheem and Ramaraju. That song is everything in terms of all the songs. I love the Freedom song at the end. That's great. But Natu Natu is a wondrous piece of musical composition. It's the best song of last year. It deserves to win the Oscar, and I think it will win the Oscar. And that's the final cherry on the top for this movie, really, in terms of its award acclaim. It should have been nominated for a foreign language picture award at the Oscars as well. I feel it's one of the best foreign language movies of 2022. It should have. It gets snubbed. But ultimately, that is why this movie is re-releasing. I'm going to just circle into that. It's not about beating KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. That will be a happy little accident if it does, and it will. I'll reiterate it again, it will beat KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. No, the re-release has been planned for so long because they knew, SS Rajamouli knew, that's why he was pushing this movie independently for award nominations. He knew how good an experience he provided not only Indian audience members, but worldwide Western audience members, if I can speak. He knew how good a movie he had. And he knew that with the buzz coming the movie's way, in awards season, getting nominated for Golden Globes, getting nominated for Oscars, BAFTAs, it's what comes with that is an inevitable re-release in those international territories. It happens with every movie. It happens with Western movies that have already been out. They get awards buzz. They get nominated at the Oscars. They re-release because there's a rekindled interest in the movie. That is why the movie's re-released. It's because it's been nominated for multiple awards. It's got a nomination in Natu Natu for an Oscar. That's why it's been re-released. It's not about beating KGF Chapter 2. I don't think anyway. Maybe I'm talking shite. Maybe one of my Indian sort of community members can come in and shoot me down in a hail of flames and tell me, look, you're talking crap. It's all about some vindictive, superior or ulterior motive from SS Rajamouli and the production company to beat KGF Chapter 2 and reign supreme over that movie. It's all about being the best. I personally think it's just about capitalising on the buzz in international markets. And beating KGF Chapter 2 is a happy little accident that comes from it. Staying on the topic of Triple R though, very briefly I'm going to delve into this because this is momentous for SS and it's momentous for the movie too. Steven Spielberg has watched the movie and he just continues to shit on, and several Western directors continue to shit on prominent YouTubers, hint hint wink wink, who couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of the movie, who suggested it was too over the top, but love Marvel movies, as I do. That's why I like a good SS Rajamouli movie too, because it's like a Marvel movie on steroids. If you enjoy one, why wouldn't you enjoy the other? Well, Steven Spielberg enjoyed it. He thought the movie was outstanding. He praised SS Rajamouli. In a sort of Zoom interview for Variety, which I do love to watch, he had an interview, a back and forth conversation with SS, and he had this to say. I'm going to get into it. I'll get down to the moment that sort of, it does the quotes here. I'll read this little bit at the top first. The two men who had a brief encounter at a Golden Globes cocktail party in Los Angeles in January, as you do, caught up over a Zoom call on Thursday. According to Variety, the conversation was facilitated by Reliance Entertainment, a long-term partner of Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment, which co-produced and released The Fabelmans theatrically across India on February 10th. He says, "I thought your movie was outstanding. It was just amazing. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was like eye candy. It was extraordinary to look at and experience." And he's absolutely right. It was extraordinary to look at and experience, as all Rajamouli movies are. And it's why we have to go and watch The Fly one. And we have to go back and watch that movie. We'll do a watch along to it at some point. Because even going back 10 years, this man was creating just sheer wizardry on a technical level. That movie was stunning to watch, from the CGI animals, which looked the best I've ever seen on a cinematic platform. I have never seen animals animated and made from computer generated imagery like that in my life before. That is the fucking gold standard for animals, CG animals. Go and watch Toto or whatever it was called, the Harrison Ford movie with a dog, and tell me that's anywhere near what Rajamouli and his effects house sort of accomplished in this movie. It was eye candy, but it was so much more than that. It had a great heartfelt story. I'm not going to go over it again. We've spoke about this movie at length. I really enjoyed RRR. For me, it's one of my favourite movies of last year. Someone suggested in a comment a couple of weeks back that we were being political with our score, our review. We certainly weren't. We really enjoyed it. We reacted to it. You can't fake a reaction for fucking 2.5 hours. It's either really fun and entertaining, or it's not, and it was. As you can see here though, Rajamouli went on. I can almost get up from a chair and do a dance. It means a lot to me. And yeah, that's really just the gist. I wanted to just speak about that. The Steven Spielberg acclaim, calling the movie outstanding, calling it eye candy. Again, that ties into what I was speaking about there. That's why this movie is getting a re-release in international markets, because there is enough interest, there is enough buzz in conjunction with the Oscar award nomination, with the win at the Globes. It would be crazy not to capitalise on that interest and see just how many people want to make a jump onto a big screen experience and watch the movie again or for the first time. Word of mouth was strong with this movie. I think the movie will do very well in its re-release. It's obviously already done very well, and I wish it all the best, and I wish Rajamouli all the best, not just with this, the continuing endeavours with this movie, but for the future. In terms of next big Indian release and next big potential Western releases, I wish nothing but success for the guy, because he is an outstanding director. But I'm going to move on to the next topic. I don't have a graphics bar for it, sadly, because I just thought it didn't do one, because I forgot, because I'm getting old, and clearly my brain is just not functioning like it did even 5 years ago. I get forgetful at times. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, that's what I'm speaking about. Aaron Taylor-Johnson addressing rumours of him potentially being the next James Bond at 007. He had a nice little interview with, and I'm going to try and find Vanity Fair, and he gave a rousing sort of speech about contentment and staying in one's lane and not becoming overburdened by rumours, positive and negative, in the press, at large, in the universe. But rather than actually paraphrasing, man, I'm going to get into the quote itself and read it, and we'll actually take his words, and then I'm going to go down a little deep dive and see the latest shortlist for James Bond actors who could play the next James Bond. I'm going to look at one often touted name who appears to have ruled himself out. But first and foremost, as you can see, in an interview with Vanity Fair, Taylor-Johnson was asked about the rumours that he is in talks to play James Bond. This follows the buzz that emerged after he starred in Bullet Train, a movie I loved, and he was outstanding in it, playing a sort of Cockney West Ham supporter, because that's the way they say it, West Ham. Really enjoyed him in that movie. I've enjoyed him in every movie he has been in. This man has a superb acting range. He can do it all. He can do jokes, he can do biopics, he can do dramas, he can do war movies. This man could play James Bond. But as you can see, reported meeting between him and Bond producer Barbara Broccoli. Taylor-Johnson's response can be read below, and I am going to read it. He had this to say about those rumours linking him with 007. It's flattering. You can have something really positive written about you, but you can also have something really negative that can circulate. This is a mastery in how to not answer a question. This guy should get into politics. You just want to stay in your lane, stay grounded, stay around the people that you love and love you back, and stay in that world. Because the moment you start believing the shit people say about you, you've lost your fucking mind. You've lost it. One thing I love about Aaron Taylor-Johnson is his just straight up honesty, his unreluctance to sort of swear when it is required. That's a man off my own heart. I love a good swear word at times. It's not through a lack of vocabulary or ability to conjure up words in one's mind and off the tongue. It's just because sometimes a swear word, a bit of profanity, just cuts through the bullshit better than some more eloquent, fancy-dancy word. And that's just a phrase I've made up there completely. So I really enjoy the guy's honesty in these interviews. I enjoy the fact he speaks freely. And I enjoy him as an actor. And I didn't even think of Aaron Taylor-Johnson as a potential James Bond. It never even crossed my mind that he could potentially play James Bond. But now that I have read of these rumours, now that I have seen the man himself come out and speak about it, I can kind of see it. He's around about the right age. He's about the age Daniel Craig was when he took on Bond. He certainly has the sort of overall looks. He has the charm. He has the acting ability, as I says. He has the hairline. He has to cut the hair though, because we ain't had no James Bond with long hair before. But I see no reason that any sports a suit well. There is no reason why he cannot play James Bond in the next iteration of 007. I see no reason why this man can't do it. He can put on that pretentious sort of received pronunciation English accent. I see no reason why he can't do it. And indeed, in this list provided by British Vogue, he is the number one choice to replace Daniel Craig as 007. The rumours seem to be building of meetings with Barbara Broccoli at MGM. The rumours seem to be building that his sort of announcement as James Bond, the white smoke, could be imminent. That was an in-joke on a forum I'm on. Incidentally, imminent is what I meant to say. I'd love to see Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing James Bond. I've got to say, of all the names that have been getting put out there, and I'm going to get into a few in a moment, I think he'd be an excellent choice. He's got the stature. He's about 5'11", I think, in that range. Wears a suit. Brilliant actor. Right age. I think he could play James Bond. I think he's perfect. But we'll get into other names listed. Obviously, Regé-Jean Page, another man who's been touted aplenty over the last 6 to 12 months for James Bond. Obviously, as you can see in this image, certainly rocks a suit tremendously, rocks a tuxedo and bow tie tremendously, has exquisite watch game. Good looking young guy, brilliant actor, absolutely a top choice as well to potentially play James Bond. Why am I saying good looking and young guy? Because obviously you really have to have a degree of good looks to play James Bond. You ain't going to be a dog and put on a tuxedo, sport a gun around and do some crazy shit in front of a camera, and that's going to be enough. With James Bond, you have to have some form of rugged handsomeness to portray that character. So we'll get into that in a moment, why that's important, that level of ruggedness. Because if you cast your mind back to the likes of Sean Connery, he wasn't a bad looking man by any means, but he wasn't youthful looking. He had ruggedness. He had a man with all the looks of having experienced the world in its various forms. He had maturity, is the word I'm looking for. This guy has maturity as well. Theo James, I don't know enough about Theo to even speak about him at length. Henry Golding, I think we can rule out. He doesn't have the ruggedness. He's too much of a pretty boy. He's a tremendous actor, but I don't think he's going to play James Bond. I really don't think so. She's certainly not playing James Bond. I don't know why she's on the list. Because of course Barbara Broccoli, the producer, ruled out a female James Bond. It would be James Bond if he was a woman. That's a man's name. I know there's a lot of fluidity when it comes to gender stuff now, and a lot of fluidity when it comes to names, but I'm pretty sure James is still a male name. And ain't no Lashana Lynch playing James Bond, sadly, for her. This guy could play him, but again, he looks a bit young to me. I don't know enough about him, truth be told. I want to get to the main point. He's not good looking enough to play James Bond, sadly for him. He's a great actor. I really enjoyed him in The Rings of Power. And as you can see, he's a dapper individual. He sports a suit well. He's got the hairline. He's a great actor. But he doesn't look right. He's not playing James Bond. He's got far too wide a head. He just looks slightly odd. I don't know what it is. He looks like a sort of AI-generated version of Hugo Weaving, which is what I felt they were going for when they cast him as Elrond in Rings of Power. He's not playing James Bond, sadly. No fucking chance. This guy certainly could. He's up there with Regé-Jean Page and obviously the aforementioned Aaron Taylor-Johnson. He has that ruggedness. He has the right balance of height, stature, acting ability to wear a suit well. he could certainly play it, and he's a Scotsman, Sam Heughan, of course. He's a fellow Scotsman. And I don't know, I think it's been far too fucking long since we had a Scottish James Bond. I think that has to be addressed. If it's not Aaron Taylor-Johnson, this guy's certainly my number 2 choice. This guy right here, I'm going to get into in a moment. In fact, I'll get into it right now. He's ruled himself out. He is not going to be the next 007. He says it's very dark. We've been working on the television show for about 10 years. And so the natural ambition is to take it to the big screen. And so we're here with the first movie. You know, a lot of people talk about another character that begins with J and ends with B. But I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be John Luther. That's who I am. So that's as good as sort of cast iron confirmation that Idris Elba sadly will not ever play James Bond. He has the rugged handsomeness, he has the acting chops, he has the stature, he has everything required to be 007, but he's not going to be. And he's too fucking old now anyway. He's a pretty boy, it's not going to happen. Don't know anything about that guy, I'm not going to lie. Irish Scotsman, too fucking young looking, doesn't look rugged enough. Don't know anything about Omar Sy, sadly. Tom Hardy's not going to be the next James Bond, he's everywhere. He's getting too old now as well, he's in his late 40s sadly. Not going to happen. Ship has sailed for Tom. And speaking about Tom, this was what I was getting at when I mentioned rugged sort of handsomeness required to play James Bond. Tom's Woods and there, he's also a charismatic, brilliant actor. He's young, probably too young. And he most certainly looks too young. He doesn't have that ruggedness. He doesn't have that experienced look that I feel is a prerequisite to play 007. He looks too fucking young. This man looks as though he's still in his teens, his late teens, early 20s. How many special agents, well versed in the ways of the dark arts through MI6, are in their early 20s? Not fucking many, I would imagine. Richard Madden, it's not going to happen with Richard now. I'd love to see Daniel Kaluuya. Not going to happen. Tom Hiddleston, too well known. Not going to happen. What I'm really saying is Aaron Taylor-Johnson has been linked. And I've got to say, him, Sam Heughan and Jean-Reggie Page, I think are the outstanding candidates of those listed in this sort of, fucking who's who of potential James Bonds. I would love to see Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing 007. I didn't even think of him. I'm repeating myself, he did not even enter my mind as a possibility. And they really have to get this casting bang on because it's super important moving forward that they not only renovate this franchise and give it new life, bring it into the 21st century the way it treats women and stuff like that, but they really have to get the casting bang on for a multitude of reasons. To get off with a bang, to energise that fucking fan base once again, and to give it longevity. And I feel like Aaron Taylor-Johnson can provide all of that and more. But look, I'm going to move on to the next topic. I'm done speaking about 007. I have to stress, I speak a lot about 007 on this channel. I think I've spoken about this a hell of a lot over the last year. I'm not even the biggest James Bond fan. I think I've seen about fucking maybe 8-9 James Bond movies. And there's been about 20. I'm not the biggest James Bond fan. I don't really care who they cast. Truth be told, part of me deep down would love to see Lashana Lynch being cast, just to see the outcry, the rage, the gnashing of teeth, the butthurt, the toxicity that would stem from social media. Would be like that Ohio train derailment that no one's talking about. The train that derailed and the toxic fumes that were getting plumed up into the sky like a week ago. No one is speaking about this. That's what it would be like if she get cast as James Bond. And being the vindictive sort of weirdo, sadomasochist that I am at times, I would take a front seat with an enormous bag of popcorn and gain a tremendous amount of pleasure from seeing all of those gnashing teeths. I'm going to move on though. Barry Keoghan, man of the moment, nominated for an Oscar for Banshees of Inisherin, playing the Joker potentially in Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy. A simply wondrous young actor. I think he's about 29, 30 years of age. Still incredibly young. You speak about someone who looks relatively youthful but has lived a million lifetimes. This guy is that and more. And I think actually, when you go to that list I had there, fucking Barry Keoghan might have been on that list. He might have been on that list. Was he on it? Let's see. Was Barry Keoghan? He wasn't on the list. They didn't deem him an important enough figure to get on the sort of shortlist for Bond. He's Irish anyway, an Irishman is never going to play James Bond. It's not going to happen. The British establishment simply would not allow that. But one thing he is going to play is Billy the Kid, and this is a movie that just sounds fantastic. Riding on the success of Banshees of Inisherin, it's incredibly important for this guy in the build-up to playing Joker that he just continues to just flesh out that wondrous filmography. This guy has played a multitude of different characters. He is a superb actor. And I think this role's perfect. Building off that success, a biopic about one of the most infamous outlaws in American history. Sounds like something that's right up his street. And it sounds like the perfect role that could potentially net him an Oscar again, this time next year, if it's as good as it sounds. As you can see here, he's been speaking to Deadline. He said this: "We've seen many versions of Billy the Kid on screen before. My interest was in trying to tell a version that breaks from the facade of that cool, calm and collected gunslinger Billy the Kid that we're all used to seeing. I wanted to humanise him in a way." And look, that's something that's tremendously important for these infamous, notorious figures of yesteryears, because they were just a human being like us, and everyone like us. I'm talking about myself in plural, like me and everyone else sharing the planet just now, who's a human. Sorry, Harley, my dog, you're not a human, although you think you are. It's incredibly important to humanise these figures, because they can become a myth, a legend, and you lose something tangible when you strip them of their humanity. Even if it's an odious, vile person who's done gruesome, horrible things, when you put this veneer of sort of, he's a devil, he's a monster, you lose that sort of connectivity with a modern audience. I'm thinking of Adolf Hitler, right off the top of my head, Joseph Stalin. They get branded monsters. They can't possibly have been a human. They were just mere mortals like you and I. Mere mortals are capable of wondrous and despicable things alike. And it's important to tell the human story in these legendary figures, and that is what Barry Keoghan is hoping to accomplish with this movie. As you can see, he was born in New York. Henry McCarthy, Billy the Kid. He was an orphan. He was abandoned. He did go on to live a notorious life. He was shot dead at 21, incredibly young. This is something that has real sort of connections with Keegan's lifestyle. This man he grew up in the foster system. And as you can see here, I remember reading about him as a kid. But as we were digging into the project, there were so many things we discovered about his life. There are so many eyewitness accounts and lots of different versions of his story that didn't add up, but that contributed to the legend. The more we looked at the story and the truth of it, the more we discussed, the more it felt like something Barry was born to do. There's a cornered child aspect to Billy that I think Barry really understands, and of the violence he has been immortalised for. Not all of it was intended or premeditated. A lot of it was circumstance edging him forward. I am tremendously excited for this movie. Tremendously excited to see Barry once again back, portraying a completely different character, humanising a legendary figure, and bringing it into the 21st century for a new audience to love and appreciate. Once again, warts and all, not just as this notorious gunslinger who was shot dead in a blaze of glory, if you'd like. Shamil, thank you very much, appreciate it. We will endeavour to keep it up, mate, believe me, we will be keeping it up. This and more. Stephen is currently, if you've been in the channel before and you've seen the two of us doing watch-alongs or whatever, reactions, Stephen's currently in Tenerife, holidaying with the family. He's on holiday. So we're taking a hiatus in terms of watch-alongs. There is a pre-recorded watch-along. You probably won't be interested in it. I think a lot of people from the West aren't even interested in it. Fuck knows I can't get it out. But we've done a watch-along to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's going to be coming out this week. And I think the next one we're doing is Farsi. So if that's what you're into, man, just anyone that's coming in, maybe watching this after the effect, we'll be back. Me and Stefano will be back doing watch-alongs at some point in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll keep it up. We'll try and keep the work up. And I appreciate it. But yeah, man, Billy the Kid, infamous figure, biopic, Barry Keoghan. It has Oscar nominations, it has Oscar buzz, awards buzz in general, written all over it. Really looking forward to seeing it, man. And I'm going to move on to the final topic of the show, and this one does have a topic bar. As you can see here, it does have a bar of its own. Because I actually made this last night. I was going to do this show last night, pre-recorded. I was going to live stream privately and release it this morning. Well, I wasn't going to release it. I was going to premiere it for this morning, and I would still be sleeping. But I ran out of time, so I simply couldn't do it. So I thought, fuck it, I'll change it up a bit. I was going to talk about Vijay Thalapathy last night. It was going to be a sort of Indian dedicated show, talking about how he doesn't like being called a pan-Indian star. He doesn't like that terminology, how it sort of disconnects from the actor and their ability and their influence. He just views himself as a mere man doing brilliant work in front of a camera, and he wants to tackle and conquer every sort of individual region in India, their individual film industries. He wants to do a Malayalam movie, he wants to do a Telugu movie. I think he's already done one of those. He wants to do movies in every region, and he doesn't view himself as this sort of pan-Indian star. He hates that term. I'm not speaking about that, but I'm speaking about a movie that he's in, and a potential movie he may be in. Lord knows, maybe he will be in this as well. I'd love to see more Vijay Thalapathy and Thalapathy Vijay sort of collaborations, because I loved Master, I love JD, I love Bhavani, and it's not often you dedicate 20 fucking minutes to a villain in your movie, but that's what Lokesh Kanagaraj does, and actually connects you with the character and makes him interesting, makes him more than just a mere cardboard generic black and white villain. So I'd love to see him working again with Thalapathy, because I think Thalapathy's one of my favourite actors from the subcontinent. I think Vijay Thalapathy probably currently is my favourite actor from the subcontinent. He's certainly fighting it out with the likes of Amir Khan, and probably Manoj Bajpayee. I fucking love Manoj as well. I've not seen enough, blanking on his name, Getonde from Sacred Games. God, what's he called again? You can see his face just now. Not seen enough of his movies. Once I've watched more of his stuff, he may become number one, because he is magnificent. Why am I blanking on his name? It's doing my nothing. I'm going to search it up just now, because I simply cannot live with myself not getting that name right away. Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Disgraceful, man. We watched Gangs of Wasseypur, he was in that too. But yeah, Vijay Thalapathy, one of my favourite actors, so I'd love to see him collaborating. But Thalapathy Vijay, man, potentially collaborating with one SRK, Shah Rukh Khan, a man we have not watched a single movie of, but we're going to change. I think it's the Something of Love. We're going to do that watch along to one of the romantic movies he did, I think about 20 odd years ago. We asked the community to recommend Shah Rukh movies to watch and do a watch along to, and they suggested that one, so we are going to be doing a watch along to that as well in the coming weeks and months. And we're going to go down a rabbit hole with Shah Rukh's back catalogue and really find out about this guy, man, what makes him tick, because he's a fascinating individual. He seems like a real inspirational figure off the camera, where he came from, sort of tragedy in his early life, and what that really did to propel him into the man, the myth that he is just now. And same as even in film school over here, Canada, Vijay Thalapathy spoken about. He's brilliant, man. He's outstanding. Such a cool, humble, grounded guy. And the multitude of different roles he's done. Rukh used to come on, who was of Indian origin. I think she was born in Singapore. Stays in Australia now. She helped us a hell of a lot. She came on and done a lot of reviews, recommended South Indian films. And she actually told us that a common criticism of Vijay Thalapathy, that is, was that he played the same role again and again. He was too samey. And me and Stephen couldn't believe that, because we'd watched 5 or 6 movies with this guy, and every role was completely different. Super Deluxe, Vikram, Veda, I think it was, with Madhavan. Obviously Master, Pizza, I think there was another one, where he starred alongside Ranjinikanth. The guy has done completely different characters in every single movie I've watched him in. I think he's guilty of maybe playing himself in that role. He's said that in the past. He plays how he would react in that role. If he had been brought up in that situation, was living in that skin, that's how he would react to that situation that he's put in the movie. But that's not the same as playing the same character. That's just thinking differently in an unorthodox way in terms of acting. I think he's fucking great. I love the guy. To have the balls to play a trans character in Super Deluxe is, look, sublime. He'd get castrated over here if he tried it in Western spheres because they'd want an actual trans actor to play that role. I thought he was brilliant in that movie, and I love the guy. I think he's fucking superb. Not just behind, but in front of the camera. But yeah, man, this is getting linked. Potential pan-Indian movie, there's that phrase again. Potential collaboration between these two, and look, this is something I've been calling for since I went down the rabbit hole with Thalapathy Vijay. We watched about 10, 11, 12 of this guy's movies, if not more, going back to the 1990s. And the one thing it seems to have been missing in his back catalogue is just doing this big sort of ensemble. My nose is filling up with snot. Jesus Christ, I sound as though I'm dying here, but I'm not. I feel good. The one thing it was missing was a sort of big collaboration with a North Indian actor or some other region of India making a huge monstrous hit, pan-Indian hit. Something that's been missing for me with Thalapathy, and we pondered why that was and why he's never fucking done it, and we came to the conclusion that he's probably content being an absolute superstar in Tamil Nadu and a sort of South Indian pin-up, and he's quite content. He's made a lot of fucking money. He's a successful man. He doesn't need it. But now there's rumours that it could potentially be happening, and I would love to see these two getting together. Obviously with, I think it's Jawan. Is that what it's called? Jawan? His upcoming movie, Atlee movie, Jawan. Shah Rukh is actually starring with Vijay Sethupathi, so Vijay has actually got the jump on Thalapathy in terms of working in a North Indian release. I don't know if Thalapathy's ever worked in a North Indian release. I may be talking shite here. He may have already have done it way back in yesteryear, I don't know. But man, I'd love to see these two guys get together. I don't know how solid the rumours are, but as you can see here, 1,000 crores. I think they're saying that the director S. Shankar, who's been known to work with, I think it's Ranjinikanth 2.0, he's done a couple other ones, potentially directing the movie. Potential collaboration, a massive budget. This would be a fucking hit, man. This would be sensational to see these two superstars from different parts of India collabing. I would go into a theatre and watch that over here. We've got a huge Indian community over here, and we need to get in a fucking theatre and experience a big Indian release with the Indian community, man, because I can imagine it would just be something completely different to anything we've experienced before. Just the way they can experience watching a movie on a big screen, I can imagine it would be great, and I want to do it. I don't know why we've not done it yet. We've been covering these movies for fucking 3 years. I need to get a grip. But as you can see here, he was rumoured to already be collaborating with Shah Rukh Khan on the movie Jawan that I just mentioned. He's up north just now doing filming for Leo, and potentially was going to jump in and have a cameo role in Jawan. I'm probably butchering the name of that movie incidentally. Jawan. But sadly, I think because of scheduling issues, it's not going to be happening. The man is far too busy. He's just not able to act in the movie. So we've missed a potential Shah Rukh and Thalapathy Vijay sort of cameo, collaboration, whatever word you want to put on it. And I personally would love to see this fucking happening right here, man. These two creating a monster hit and just uniting the whole of India, man. Make peace, make love, not war, as someone says. I don't know who it was. Make love, not war. Was it the Beatles? I don't know. But as you can see here, he's not able to do it, but there is rumours that Allu Arjun could potentially step in. Now, I've got a multitude of fucking problems with this. One, Allu Arjun, as charismatic as he is, as great a dancer as he is, as larger than life a figure as he is, he's not Thalapathy Vijay. He's not as good an actor as Thalapathy Vijay. He's not as star a name as Thalapathy Vijay. That man cannot be stepping in and performing a cameo role in place of Thalapathy Vijay. He simply cannot. That's not me downing Allu Arjun. I think he's great. We've reacted to a number of his stuff, but he ain't Thalapathy. Never ever put him in the same breath as Thalapathy Vijay. That's fucking blasphemy. So just don't bother with the cameo on Jawan. Shah Rukh, tell them if it's not Thalapathy, it doesn't happen, and move on. Let them wait, as James Earl Jones said famously in Coming to America. Wait, have the collaboration happen proper, and a big monstrous pan-Indian release. And it may be like RRR again, man. We may have fucking box office receipts getting into the stratosphere. We may have Oscar nominations Can you imagine Shah Rukh and Thalapathy doing a dance together? In fact, you know what? Just bring in Prabhadeva. Make that happen, man. Make it happen right now. But look, I have been speaking for 50 fucking minutes, 45 minutes, probably 44. I've been speaking a long time. My voice is going. I'm coming off the back of a throat infection. And I'm in a sort of maniacal fucking nightmare. I've been speaking for 2 hours the last 2 days and try to push myself back into a throat infection again. So I'm going to end it right now by passing it over to whoever's potentially watching at some point, if not live, but in the future. What's your thoughts? Not only on what's your thoughts on Raquel Welch dying as well? Did you know who Raquel Welch was? Depending on where you are from the world, was she this, I don't know, worldwide hit? This iconic pin-up star from the 60s and 70s. Share your thoughts on that, potentially, if that's something you're interested in. What do you make about RRR re-releasing internationally? What do you think the rationale is behind it? Do you think, like me, it's just to capitalise on the buzz and the influence this movie has generated in Western society? Capitalise on the award nominations. It's not about beating KGF Chapter 2, that would be a happy accident. Or do you disagree? Do you think it is just one big vindictive sort of one-upmanship over KGF Chapter 2? Because this movie is going to beat KGF Chapter 2 at the box office. It's going to make the $4.5 million. It just is. It's a better movie. What's your thoughts on that? Share your thoughts down below if you've got anything to say. What do you make about Aaron Taylor-Johnson getting linked as the next James Bond? Who would you like to see play James Bond? I think he's perfect. Share your thoughts down below. What do you think about Barry Keoghan playing Billy the Kid in a biopic, humanising this legendary figure? Finally, do you want to see Shah Rukh Khan and Thalapathy Vijay collaborating in a pan-Indian release? 1,000 crore budget, Shankar directing it. Share your thoughts down below about that. Anything else you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comments section. That's the place to put it. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon on YouTube to see us do more content like this in the future. I don't know what I said there. YouTube. I think I put a D on the end. Do the same thing over on Twitch. Follow button. Notifications button over there. All that's left to say is thank you to Shamil for coming in and commenting. You're the only one. I appreciate it. I'll take one commenter. It's better than fucking nothing. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you to anyone else who's popped in and watched me. But until the next time, I am done. Bye-bye. You're a Harry Potter fan, by the way. The next time will be Sunday. I'll be on doing a tier video ranking all of the Harry Potter movies. So if you're interested in that, come in then and I'll rank them.